morning and good life, everybody. My name is Nicole Banister, aka NIKKI BANZ, coming to you live from Los Angeles, California. Today I'm interviewing Amy Landino right here on NIKKI BANZ Live. Oh my goodness gracious, I have my sound effects back. I don't know if I needed to update my computer or what, but for some reason I haven't had sound effects for the last couple of episodes, and it's just been a hot mess. Like, I feel like part of watching NIKKI BANZ Live is hearing the DJ horn, like you hear that and you're like, it's NIKKI BANZ Live time. Like, I don't know about you, but it gets me hella excited, and I hope it gets you excited too. So I'm super excited that for whatever reason, me restarting my computer or updating it or whatever I needed to do, we've got the sound effects back. Let's go! Well, everybody, I am so excited for today's interview. Today I'm interviewing somebody who you are going to recognize. She's in the chats already. Hi, Amy. She's in the comments already. She is a prolific YouTuber, a keynote speaker, a podcast host, a mother, a multi-best-selling author, and y'all are going to recognize her from Started Up Season 2, the finals episode. Her name is Amy Landino, and I cannot wait to chat with her more today on the show. Amy, I see you, baby girl. I'm gonna be bringing you on very, very soon. But before we get there, what's up to everybody out there? It's amazing to see all of you. Hello, Awad. Hello, Mom. Hello, Cindy. Hello, Dr. Socrates. Hello, Rayham. Hello, everybody who's here today. It is truly my pleasure to bring you NIKKI BANZ Live every single Tuesday, where I am giving you exclusive one-on-one interviews with some of the most interesting, the most dynamic, the most diverse people in the world. Every single Tuesday, I'm bringing you a different guest from a different country, and this week is no exception. So what's up? It's amazing to see you all. As you all know, I'm in La La Land, Los Angeles, California at the moment. I had an epic Euro trip the past couple of weeks. I was in France, I was in Portugal, I was in Scotland, I was in England. Now I'm back in the good old US of A. Okay, shout out to LA. The weather is absolutely stunning here. I've been doing these like long walks every single day, and it's been just like so lovely to just walk around the neighborhood and just vibe. And you'll be like, Nicole, if it's so warm and sunny outside, why are you wearing a long sleeve shirt? Like, isn't it warm outside? It is warm outside, but today I had to rock this shirt. Shout out to the team at Pata. You can see my little P here. You guys might know Pata. It's an amazing brand based out of the Netherlands. Super cool, cultural, diverse, vibey, like really at the intersection of all the socio-cultural dope things happening around the world. So Pata sent me the hookup with this shirt. So I had to rock it today on NIKKI BANZ Live. Got the little P from Pata. Shout out to Pata for blessing me with my outfit with the drip for today. It's gonna be, yeah, I had to rock it. I'm super excited to be rocking it. And you know, I got my little bling. You know, you know me, I like the bling. Got my little cute nails, my own natural nails, y'all. Look at that. They're getting so long. I'm very proud of myself. You already know Lotus Beauty hair with the hair. You know that hair is sponsored, okay? And honestly, this hair has been lasting me for a long time. Y'all gonna see that ever since I left South Africa. I've been rocking these faux locks, and they have been lasting very, very well. So shout out to Lotus Beauty hair in Cape Town, who makes sure my hair is looking correct. Okay, y'all, it's enough from me. I know y'all want to hear from my amazing guest today, the one and only Amy Landino. Shout out to Rayham in the chat, being like, your energy is contagious. You've made my day. Ah, yes. Thank you so much for that. I'm so grateful to you for being here and for rocking with me. I see Sabine is here, Rahesh is here, all sorts of dope people. Hello. So now, without any further ado, I'm going to bring on my special guest, my VIP of the day, of today's interview on NIKKI BANZ Live, the one and only Amy Landino. Are you ready? Let's get that drum roll going, party people. Let's get this interview started. Exciting! Hello!
Hey! How are you?
I'm so good!
I can't stop smiling over here. You're so much fun, NIKKI. I'm so excited to finally be here.
I know, me too. And I feel like we've been waiting for this moment. We've been waiting
100%. Let's just do it for everyone, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're no stranger to that, baby girl. So you've got it locked down.
Yeah. Fair to say.
Absolutely. So, Amy, welcome to the show. Welcome to NIKKI BANZ Live. I'm so thrilled to have you here. And I always like to start every episode of the show by sharing how I know the guests who are on my show. And we have an amazing meet cute story.
Yes, definitely.
We met in the studio on the set of Started Up Season 2. I am the host of the show, this incredible show that is featuring the best and the brightest student entrepreneurs from across the world. Literally students from Kenya, from Germany, from Ecuador, from Colombia, like so diverse, so international. They're pitching their social impact business ideas. And you, my dear, you were one of our VIP guest judges for the finals of the show, helping to decide who wins $50,000.
Oh my God. It was so much pressure. It was a lot of pressure. Oh my gosh. Just the talent that comes through that competition and everyone in EO. And it was just absolutely incredible to be able to be surrounded by such talented, big thinkers, and to be on the judges panel was quite an honor.
Oh my gosh. Well, we were so honored to have you, and it was so much fun for me as the host, being there in the studio, hearing the questions that you were asking those young people, and just having your overall stage presence, because this is literally what you do. You are on camera all the time sharing your
stage presence. Oh my, please. I was literally judging people. Okay, if we're talking about somebody who had stage presence, it was Miss NIKKI BANZ. I was sitting here in my judge's chair, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's got to say those lines again. Like you were so good. I mean, just the amount of preparation and grace and time in high-heeled shoes that you have put in. I commend you. You were incredible, honestly. Like you crushed that. Everybody, I think, was done a better justice for how amazing their businesses are because of how well you welcomed everyone into the experience of hosting that show. So I'm sorry, but like stage presence goes to you on that one.
You know what? I accept that. I receive that with gratitude. Thank you, Amy. And honestly, my job is a lot easier when I've got folks like you who are on stage next to me who have done this before.
That's fair. It's a team. Yeah, it's good to have a team.
It is 100% a team effort. Even like this interview now, I have to say I'm so excited because it's like, sometimes I interview people who like really aren't used to being interviewed, or they're not used to like talking in public. Like, especially a lot of actors who come on this show.
Yeah.
They're like, I do scripts. I
have to be myself? Like, yeah. What? Yeah.
How do I do that? How do I share my authentic self? And you're like a super pro at this. And so I have so many questions about so many things. And I have to say, like, one of the things I love about prepping for this show, especially for people like you, like expert YouTubers, people who have so much content online. I'm like, oh, my prep for this interview is watching like 5 hours worth of Amy TV. I'm like, this is great.
I love those assignments too. I love to read a good book from an author. Like, that's my favorite interview prep to do. But no, when someone makes videos, it's like, yes.
Yeah, it's also so amazing. I have to say, I did not read your books before this interview. I'm sorry, I didn't do it.
That takes more time. But no, let me tell you something. As somebody that has been a video content creator for a lot of years, writing my first book, I really was dragging my feet on that because I was putting content out for free and I was speaking on stages, and I would still have people come up to me and be like, where's your book? And I'm like, why do you want to buy a book from me? I make videos. So It's like, I really dragged my feet on that. So I don't blame you, but it was a really cool experience. And then I did it 3 times. So clearly I liked it a lot. But no, I think everybody learns in their own way. And it's really cool when somebody that you're learning about can offer you different mediums so that you can kind of get a feel for how they are in each of those places. So I totally support watching as many hours as you want of Amy TV. Hit the like button.
Oh, girl, you already know I subscribed. You already know I subscribed.
That works for me too. Believe me, it's fine.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. And I saw somebody in the chat. I just want to shout them out if I can find them. Somebody was like, "Oh, you ladies have like the best energy. Oh, you ladies are inspiring. Thank you to Fancy Free
Thank you.
Oh, love you. Love you. That's so sweet. So let's take it back to kind of like the beginning, Amy, because you didn't just wake up and you were like, I'm going to be a YouTuber, I'm going to be a content creator. That's not how it started. You actually had like a totally different career. You were like working in a corporate law firm, and then you took this massive leap and jump and decided to like pivot full time into content creation. Talk to us about the leap and how you made that decision, because I think so many people want to do that and they're so scared. So talk us through it.
Yeah, I'm happy to share it, because let me tell you something. We live in a strange world right now, because the world that I started out in, I think we will say it was around 2008. The short of the long story beginning is I was in a wedding, and it was like something I did with one of the bridesmaids, was made a video for the bride. You guys, I burned that video on a DVD. I edited it with like, what was the Microsoft program? Windows something or other. Like, it was old times. And they wheeled a TV into the room, the reception, or what was it? Like the rehearsal dinner. As we play. So what was really fascinating about that moment was it was the first time I'd had like a creative outlet. And we played this video, and it's like, you make something like that, which is basically like a compilation of best wishes and like cute panning of our old neighborhoods and stuff. You make it for one person, but when everyone in that room was brought to tears and excited about it, you just go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Is this what power is? This is strange. Like, this is really beautiful. And so that's when I learned what it was like to like have a niche. Like, you make something for one specific person and you can affect the many. So that's really where I discovered my creative outlet. I was working for a law firm. Like you said, I thought I was going to be a lawyer. So I said, I'm going to go work at a law firm, see how it's like. And then I got there and I was like, I don't want this life. This is not fun.
Nope.
But what I was going to school for, I was able to apply those skills with political science. I ended up working for a former fundraiser, turning into a lobbyist, and we got to work in that sector. And I really got to do some cool stuff there. That would have been it. No one in the US was getting a job out of college at that point. I quit school so I could keep my job that people would have been begging for if they were graduating college. I had the 401k, I had the cushy chair, I had free candy and soda, and I went to a nice job with a parking spot, and it was great. But the problem was I found this creative outlet and it just kept calling me. So I was doing it a lot on the side, and by doing it, I mean, I don't have to print DVDs. There's this new thing called youtube.com, and I can upload my videos there and use a link to share it with my friends. Like, that was it. That was the plan. That was it. I'm going to make cute videos of me and my friends. So long story longer, it was really a journey in storytelling, learning. I found other creators on the platform. Justine, Philip DeFranco, the Smosh Brothers, like all these people that were on the platform 2006, 2007, and were showing me what was really possible with it. And then the craziest part of that is it wasn't like I'm going to be a professional YouTuber. That still wasn't the plan, because it was still like I would have my vlogging camera at the grocery store, like trying to be funny and cute. And I would have people come up to me like, do you need me to take your photo? And because they just no idea what this
no context.
And I was like, you don't want to take my photo, man. Like, this is just, you just want to go get your Cheerios and move on. So I'm learning all of these skills, and I realized I was learning social media marketing. I'm creating content. That content is it's a product, and I'm going to promote it on these other social platforms, and I'm going to grow a little community. So what ended up happening was that spiraled into a business. I started working with businesses because 2011, 2012, businesses really started to understand Facebook and Twitter and wow, we can promote ourselves here. They weren't really allocating budget yet, but that's how all of this began. And it wasn't until 2018 that Vlog Like a Boss, my book, was out. I was kind of like exhausted of talking about video on video in the video platform. Like, it was just like, I've talked it up. I've kind of done it. And I felt there was a new challenge. And it was this conversation around the productive lifestyle and people who really wanted to get more done and be more focused and follow their passions. And they saw people like me who just happened to start a business because it was just the way things were going, not because it was like, I want to say, screw the man. It just went that way. So really things took a turn on YouTube when we expanded the conversation then. And it's gone on to be a planner that I designed in my books. And so I just sort of have this productive lifestyle product company, and it's the best thing ever. And I'm a professional YouTuber and a public speaker. And apparently I am a judge on TV shows and stuff. It's like, it's so amazing what you can do when you're a multi-hyphenate, and you just literally cannot be replaced by anyone else, because what you do is so individual to you. And I feel very called to you, Nikki, because I feel like you're very similar. Your business, your life, everything you have going on is so specific to what you're good at and how you've made it. And I love that we live in that world now, to kind of bring it full circle. So
thank you, Amy. And I feel the exact same way. And I think it's one of the reasons why you and I were immediately drawn to each other in the studio and on the set during these conversations, because it's being able to say, look, like, I'm a brand because I have a voice. I'm unapologetic about my voice. I'm unapologetic about what I want to share. And I have something that I can share with the world, and I can do it in so many different ways. You know, and I think that's one of the things that I really resonated with when I was sort of reading, you know, something that I read about you online. You were saying, you know, I'm a digital entrepreneur. And that's just, I think that's just such a creative and brilliant way to say it, because yes, it's YouTube, but it's also speaking engagements. It's also being on panels. It's also being on TV shows. It's also content creation. You know, it's so many different things. And it's like that digital entrepreneur title almost encompasses the breadth and the diversity of all the different things that you do, just like multi-hyphenate does as well, right? It's like you're able to.
It's like, I don't even know what else to say. It's like you're supposed to write yourself a bio, and you're like, I don't know how to explain this to you. Like, so I think it's digital entrepreneur, because it really is about the fact that we can connect with each other in such a, I mean, like, don't even ask me about Web3. I'm not even caught up in all the ways that we have become evolved as an internet society. When used for good, it is amazing how we can connect to one another. And it truly is like, even though I have a paper planner and I drop ship it like pretty, like typically like a business, it still all came together because of digital relationships and the way that you can find your people online. So it's so bizarre, but like that I'm not just an author. I'm not just a public speaker. All of this is possible because of this empire of people that come together and relate. And that's really making sure paying an ode to that is super important to me.
Right, exactly. And you do all of these things because you're so passionate about them, because you have purpose. You know, you are a purpose-driven person for the things that you care about. So I want to ask you, what is your why? What is that sort of motivating factor, that line that actually connects all the dots from being an author, from being a YouTuber, from being a content creator, a speaker, all these things that you do? What is your why? What's that thing that pushes you and drives you to share all of this and to share your talents with us, with the world?
This is my favorite question. There's a whole page of it in my planner. Like, why are you doing this? Because you can make all the plans and goals and everything in the world, and it won't matter. My original why was so that I could stay home and hang out with my dog all day. That really was my why. And I just want everyone to know that, because if you don't have a very real why and you don't tell yourself the truth, you will not do the things, okay? You're still gonna scroll your phone 6 hours in the evening and wake up at the last minute to go to work and like hate your job. Like, if you don't have a why that really gets you excited, and at the time, like, I had a handicapped dog that I hated leaving every day and I wanted to be home with her. Like, that was it. That was it. But truly now I live by my tagline. I can't bring myself to upload an Instagram photo or get on a call or do an interview unless it has something to do with helping women go after the life they want. And that's become a tagline over the years, but it really gets me going. If any woman in my life I just met, or a friend, or I've had my 20-year high school reunion was recently, I know. And like, I had people like messaging me saying like, hey, so great to see you. Like, I would really love to just have a coffee with you. And it's like the fact that we can reconnect at a different stage of our lives and talk about like where we are going and what we want for ourselves. Like, I get excited to have those conversations. And it just gets me so excited because I feel like I've lived so much, and I've always been somebody that doesn't stop talking if you can't tell. And I want you to know everything I know, just in case you can use it for any reason. So that's why that why is still working for me. And bless my husband, he's also in the space and we've co-owned a business together all the time. He'll come to me and be like, you should try this, you should do this. He's very in tune, like he knows what's going on all the time. And I'm more like, I kind of know what's going on, but I stay really focused. Like I just have blinders on. So he'll tell me, like, try this, do this. I'm like, why does it matter?
Right.
Does it matter to my people that I do this for? Because genuinely, like if I can't connect the dots, I'm like not interested. I'm just not interested, and I won't do it. I won't do it. It's part of the reason why I really suck at uploading like short form vertical videos. Like I'm just like, I suck at these things. I'm much better long form on YouTube in a wide frame. Like
right. And I think it's beautiful that you know your purpose, you know that why, you're helping women go after the life that they want. You know that. And so then you can make sure that this thing is either on track, or if it's off track, you're going to move it to the side. And that is so critical and so brilliant. And I love that you mentioned, you know, your husband co-owning the business together and some of that partnership there. Talk to us about what the rest of your sort of team looks like. And because I think a lot of people, like, they look at you and they look at the content that you make. I know as a content creator that making content is very difficult. People just think like that influencers are just like online and they're making these videos and they just like get easily paid to do it. That is not the case. Like making videos, putting on sound effects, doing different video things, like all those things take a lot of time, a lot of thought process, even scripting. All the videos that you make, over 1,000 videos that you've published, scripting those videos. What are you going to say? How does it connect the dots? All that takes a lot of effort. So talk to us about the team that you've built out and what that structure looks like to help you be successful.
The team has been ever evolving for a number of years, but I will say this, just because sometimes that, like, having somebody talk about their team is a really it's just like, what, like, help me relate just a little bit. One thing, if you're in the digital space specifically, is especially mistakes I've made in the last number of years is having a team end up taking over an area of creativity that truly was your core skill set. And sometimes we jump to scale a little bit too quickly. If you're really truly the heartbeat of something in the business and it's not ready to hand off yet, stay the heartbeat of that. I made a lot of mistakes in terms of team over the number of years because bringing people on feels like a quick and easy result. You are never going to find a unicorn. I have had absolutely incredible people work for me. They were fantastic racehorses. The only way to make them into a unicorn is to actually teach them how they can bring specific value to your business. So never look for a unicorn, and find people who really are good at what they do and bring them on. And I've just to summarize, I've just brought people on that are good at what they do. If I'm not detail oriented, I'm not detail oriented. I'm going to bring somebody on that's super detail oriented and have them check my email and schedule my stuff and make sure I stay on deadline with a brand, make sure I get on the plane. Like, that's really, really important. But when you start offloading things just because you're like, I'll get it kickstarted, and then somebody else is going to carry it forward for me, you can lose a lot of your business in that way. One of the biggest things I think I go back and forth on all the time is video editing. This is going to shock a lot of people, but I edit my videos. And the reason for that is anytime I've offloaded it, it's almost like a comic in their comedic timing. Some of the edit like just gets carried forward in the way that I wanted it to come through. And I just know how to do it. When you teach yourself something when you're bootstrapping, sometimes it's really hard to let go of. There are other areas of my business I'm like, no, I suck at that. Somebody else needs to handle it. But that's an example I would give of, like, I've been doing this for 15, 16 years or something. Like, just, I'm still not hiring a team member for certain things because we have not been able to pass that torch in the way that it needs to be passed to make sure the business can survive. So the team ends up being a lot of contractors. I like empowering people to work for themselves. I really want them to build their thing. And if I can help them do that, I'm going to help them do that. I've just found that's been the best way to motivate people. Full-time team has not always panned out for me for a variety of reasons. And it's never because the person is not good at their job. I fully believe if you don't train your team, if you don't work with them, if you don't communicate, that person could be an amazing racehorse. They'll never be your unicorn. And you will actually think that they're like gonna not like they are broken or like injured because you did not give them the tools they needed to do their job well. I fully believe you have to earn your team. You need to earn your team. But I just have found that working with contractors makes the most sense. And it really empowers me because I know I'm lifting up their business, and that's what I like to do. So I bring on those skill sets as they apply to any given project or any given moment that it needs to happen.
One of the things that I really like about what you shared, Amy, is that you're not sort of beating around the bush in terms of like what works best for you. You're able to say like, I haven't had this like long-term full-time team, and that just doesn't work for me. And I think that's one of the things that you do really well in your videos, in your podcast. You're able to say like, this is a thing that has worked for me, and this is how I amplify it and how I share it across like multiple different lanes. This is how I built the team that's gonna like help me do that. And if it evolves, that's okay. But there's some things I need to keep for myself, and there's some things I can delegate.
Yeah.
And I think that's just
and it's okay. I mean, I've had a full-time team. I've had all contractors. I've had totally had a mixture of both for a long period of time. Like, you just figure out why it works and if it works. I told you guys my original why was to stay home with my dog. Like, on some level, the scrappiest, most bootstrap business still really appeals to me in a lot of ways. It has a little bit to do with freedom. When things start to get too big, sometimes I get a little bit too like, this machine is getting bigger than me. And so when you're not ready for that, you're not ready for that. So it's a lot of try and fail and try and succeed and lean into the things that work. And I think people should feel a lot less pressure about bringing on this like full-time team to make their dreams come true, and get really focused on what actually works. Try it, do the work, try it, period.
Period. I love that. And you also just mentioned try and fail. And I think sometimes people forget that failure is an integral and critical part of the journey. There is no journey without
there is no Monopoly, skip that part, pass go, get your money. Like, that is not going to happen. And honestly, I think I heard a really good one today, that failure is feedback. And a lot of us are, just like we're like, ooh, I didn't ask for your feedback, or that's not constructive criticism. Usually when we fail, it was feedback we weren't ready for.
Right.
And then we have to ask ourselves why we weren't ready for it. Because the reality is failure is just an answer. And the answer is no, or the answer is whatever it is, right? And it's like, okay, I failed, but like, what is that really telling me? And that's what people mean by failing is not the end, and failing isn't a forever. It's like, what are you going to do with it? And you genuinely just have to know it in the moment. You're like, okay, I'm failing. But like, what is it actually telling me? What is the universe telling me? What is anyone telling me? Like, what does this mean? I'm not good enough. Ask more questions. If it means like, this doesn't fit me, if I felt in my gut it wasn't going to fit me and I failed, like, okay, great. Have a conversation with yourself. Stop asking the rest of the world, polling social media, and like going on about it. Just be okay with what the answer is, and asking yourself and knowing you have the answer. I think a lot of people don't sit with their own answers with themselves, which is tough.
Exactly. And I see we've got somebody in the chat, Safa Sharif, who is actually one of the judges on Started Up season 1.
Cool.
Saying he loves it. Failure is feedback. And I also think that that's such like a empowering and critical way to think about failure. Amy, can you give us an example of a time that you failed and what the lesson was that you learned from that?
Yeah, I'll give you a really good example, because especially if anyone's like, oh, YouTube, blah, 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 right? Like, if you go to my YouTube channel right now, and first thing you're going to do, I'm going to tell you exactly the first thing you're going to do. It's not watch a video. The first thing you're going to do when you go to my YouTube channel is look to see how many YouTube subscribers I have, because you're checking to see if I have credibility. And you're going to see that and be like, oh, this girl, she's got it. She's got it made. No problem. Like, okay, took me like 12 years, but okay.
Right.
But okay. Now, if you go and see a video that doesn't have a lot of views on it, it's because just because you have been able to rally a community there does not mean that you have earned their 100% attention forever and ever. And YouTube is there to make money. And so they're not going to just give you attention just because somebody clicks subscribe. You still have to earn it. So I would say that anytime I publish a video, and we know on the back end of analytics, you guys, especially if you're ever thinking about becoming a professional, if you're not in your analytics, you're not a professional. The analytics will tell you moment number one that that video is failing, or that it's, it's about the same, or, oh, this one's going to take off. You can tell very quickly, especially when you've had traction and you have like a subset of people who are testing it for you right out the gate. So I would say that I fail with videos all the time. And what that says to me is a very important lesson that I've learned with personal branding. Sometimes you get really, really excited about what you're doing and you're like, this is so cool. Like, I went to South Africa, and you're like, I'm going to share all these details about this, right? Number one rule of personal branding, in my opinion, number one rule of personal branding: people care about who you are, but they don't care about you. And I mean that in the kindest way. I know you guys think we're dope.
That's
like,
so
thank you.
interesting.
Thank you. But the reality is that people have come to know you for a specific thing, and they're coming to get that specific thing. And they're going to cheer for you along the way. But if you're sharing too much of like something that's very self-indulgent, or and we, most of the times when we see this is like somebody does something pretty awful or looks pretty awful in their personal life, what things they've said in the past, or like whatever. This is what I mean. Like, they liked you for what they knew you for, not for who you are. Like, they don't care about like you. Like, if you did something wrong, we're going to tear you down. So that's the dichotomy of personal branding a little bit. I can tell when a video goes out that I forgot my why, and I made it about me.
Wow.
And that's usually why I fail. So that's just feedback, because then the next minute I can post a video and it can get buku views, but it's because it was serving in the way that I promised it was going to serve. And that's just feedback. No one's mad at me for uploading something else. They're just not looking at it. And that is a real indication. That's what sucks. You think being canceled or negativity sucks, and it does, not asking for it. Nobody listening, nobody watching, nobody caring, that's feedback too. And so that's really, really important to know. So that's just one example. I fail all the time because I'm constantly putting myself out there and trying to come up with new ideas. And you have to take the failure as feedback and say, okay, what did we learn from this? Like, let's get into it. Not just the analytics, but like, how did it feel? Why did this happen? Why did we think it was going to be good?
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the things that I also try to do is when I look back at times when I failed, or maybe like opportunities or gigs that like didn't work out, I try to reflect back on each of those experiences or each of those jobs or each of those gigs with gratitude.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, even if it failed, quote unquote, right? Or even if it didn't work out exactly the way that I planned for it, I can look back at that with gratitude because I know it taught me something. I know it introduced me to something. I know I learned something from that whole experience, which is very similar to what you're sharing, right? There's a lesson there. And for that lesson, I can be grateful that that thing didn't work out or didn't pan out the way that I expected it to. And that's something that I really like to think about when I reflect on failure, or when I reflect on past experiences that just didn't go the way I had hoped for.
Right. Right, absolutely. I think it's so important to sit in gratitude, 100%. And as long as you truly are sitting in gratitude.
Right.
A lot of us will do this backwards. We'll be like, okay, hold on, let me come up with something I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So you're guilting yourself into coming up with something, and then you're like, well, I guess I've got it pretty good, so I need to stop complaining. And like, I don't even. No. You have to really understand, like, where is the gratitude moment and learn from it, because otherwise that's not helping you either. So really paying attention to that. This is what I mean about having conversations with yourself. You, like, even you, Nikki, it's rare for us to go through an experience and be like, I crushed that, and be wrong. Because you can feel it in your gut that something was off. Like, you can always feel it in your gut. Like, not that you should read into it, but just that you can see where things could have been tweaked better, or you can see how certain decisions could have been changed here and there. That's all it is. And again, so it's just feedback. So I love that you said that. I think it's super important to sit in gratitude, because every experience is an opportunity to learn something and be better for it, as long as we don't tell ourselves stories that are not true. especially if we then tell the world those stories, because that's even worse.
Right, exactly. One of the things I actually think you also do very well, Amy, is because you know what you're about, because you know what your audience likes and what you share, you're able to not go out of your lane, but actually expand your lane, right? This was a concept that I heard at a conference in Dubai, and there was this really incredible content creator, Jordan Matter. He's the guy that, like, I don't know if you know him, but Jordan Matter is the guy that, like, takes all those beautiful shots of, like, ballerinas in the middle of, like, downtown New York City. Like, if you've ever seen that.
Oh, maybe I have seen that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and he's got, like, a massive YouTube following as well. And one of the things she said was, you have to stay in your lane because that's what your people like, but you need to learn how to expand your lane. And I think that's something that you've done very well. You've got your YouTube videos, and then you branched out into the podcast. You branched out into books. You have keynote talks as well. So talk to us about how you make those decisions to actually expand your lane and to go into other creative outlets. Because I think sometimes people almost like pigeonhole themselves and think like, okay, I'm just a content creator, I can't then also do this, or I'm just a speaker, I can't then also do this. So how do you make those decisions to expand your opportunities and still stay true to who you are and what people want from you?
Yeah. You know what I feel like? I always think of Beyonce. Like, yeah. I don't know. I'm not comparing myself to Beyonce. I just mean like the growing up process of like your brand and like what you have to offer. We loved Beyonce circa Destiny's Child, right? Like, and there was also a former of Beyonce, but I feel like that was like the moment we really knew her, right?
Yeah.
And then she went on to become all of this. We're growing up with her. Like, I feel like you grow up with her, you grow up with her content, then you grow up with like all of the new ideas that she has. She doesn't have to sing bills, bills, bills for the rest of her life. Right. She's going to continue it. And so I feel like that's what it is. You really stay in your lane and you captivate an audience and you show why you're special in that particular way. And then you continue to grow with them. There's two people here that you have to serve. I've always said there's one, but I actually really believe it's two. And the one is who your perfect viewer is. And I wrote about that in Blog Like a Boss. But your second is you, because we have to show up face on in this particular line of work, and everyone's different. But regardless, we all need to be on at some point. And in order to do that and really do it a justice, you have to want to be doing what you're doing, and you have to want to be doing it for someone else. So when you commit to your lane, I love that analogy. When you commit to your lane and you're really doing it because it's like, it feels good to you, you can tell it's like one of your natural, not maybe talent, maybe skill, maybe something you're born with, probably all of the above, right? And you're just building it, and you lean into that lane, you have a conversation with people. Like I said, people asked me for a book, and I was like, why? And I was like, that's going to take time, and I'm not a writer. But I did it because I was in my lane, and I was speeding down this lane, and people wanted more on this journey going down this lane. So then that's how the book came about. But if it wasn't for that conversation with that audience, that book would not have happened. But the other piece of that is like public speaking. Like, where does public speaking come into play? Literally started because I'm making videos on the internet. Somebody emails me and is like, you're doing a great job making videos on the internet. Why don't you come speak at my event?
Yeah.
Like, I'm in a bedroom by myself talking to a camera. That gives you any indication I'm going to be good on stage. But it turns out that, and I failed public speaking. I didn't fail. I probably got like a C. But it turns out when you love what you're talking about, you can get past some of those fear-based things from a public speaking standpoint. That's a thing I do for me. That's actually the biggest amount of time, money, and like getting butts in seats is hard. Where uploading a video, I can hit a lot more people in less time.
Right.
But there's something about being on stage for me that just gets me so hyped up, especially with the immediate feedback of somebody. So you've got the book, which the audience is asking for, and you've got public speaking, which the audience is like, oh, in person? And I'm like, yes, and I'm going to go do that because I'm so excited. It's all working and it's expanding because it fits the multi-hyphenate version of where I see myself going. And I'm not asking any questions about it. Somebody sent me a text today, like, please come speak at my event. I'd be like, tell me when?
Yeah.
Because I love it so much. And my agent's like, slow down. We got to ask them how much money. And I'm like, no. Get me on stage. COVID's got me like, oh my gosh, I want to. Yes. So it's really important to listen to two people. Who are you doing this for? There's also going to be a big gallery of people who are going to share their thoughts with you about what you do. And you may not like them. Yeah. And that's okay, because that's more feedback. And there's a feedback loop for a reason. You can look at them and go, but really though, are they my person? Even if it's a family member, you can go like, but are they my person? I'll never forget the first time I had my mom use my website a long time ago. I was like, sit here and use my website so I could just see what she did. Sure. Because on some level, there are some things she could teach me about how she uses websites and like, what are you looking at? What do you click on? Right. And it was really funny because I found out that I was not making it easy for people to sign up for an email newsletter because I had buried it in so many different ways. I wouldn't have learned that without asking my mom. I don't think my mom is my core audience, but she can still teach me something. 100%. So just remember who that person is, and then remember that you're doing this every day. You have to show up every day. You want to own a business, you want to be a digital creator. It's not a 40-hour-a-week job. It's not easy. You're usually setting up your own lights, your own camera. You're making sure your Wi-Fi doesn't die for your interview. Yeah. Like, you're doing all these things. It's a lot of work, but if you love it, you'll never get bored. You'll never get bored. And that's the core thing. So I really think the expansion of the lane is, as you get better at driving the car, you realize what you can do and you test it out and you take detours. And if it doesn't work, the lane didn't expand, and that's okay in that way. But it doesn't mean that you're stuck.
Amy, I love that. For everybody who's here on this live right now, you better be taking notes, okay? Amy Landino is here dropping bars, dropping gems for you all about how to expand your lane, how to reach all of your audiences, how to know who those people are who are really your people. This is just so critical. I see M. Price is on here. This is great advice. Thank you. I had seen somebody earlier commenting, Cece from Cece's World, saying Amy is amazing, the original mastermind content creator. I love this feedback. I love this feedback. I'll do even Safa's back. Love the lane in the car analogy. Yes. Everybody,
that is a
loving it.
Great analogy that we're totally borrowing, and I love it. I think it's a great one.
Yes, borrow it. Take it, run with it, and roll with it. Love it too. So just for everyone who's on the live right now, or anybody who's watching the rerun on YouTube, make sure that you are following Amy on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to her YouTube channel. If you're here on the live right now, literally just go to the top of your screen. You'll see a little white arrow at the top. You can just hit that arrow and go immediately follow Amy at Schmittastic. Okay, you can go and you can follow me on Instagram as well at They Call Me Banz. And this would be a good moment for me to plug. We have about 15 minutes left of the show. If anyone has any questions for Amy, then what I want you to do is I want you to go, not in the comments, because I know the comments be going fast as people come on, but to the right, there's like a little thought bubble with the question mark. Click on that and type any comments that you have, any questions that you have for Amy, and I'll ask them in the last like 10 minutes of this interview. I see somebody else on here following since I found the time blocking video, game changer for reaching goals. Okay, CS4227.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Love it. So I think this would be a good point for me to just ask Amy, like, what is going on right now? Like, what is exciting? What's happening with you? What should we, as your friends and fans and followers, be like expecting the second half of this year or this summer or sort of in the immediate future?
Well, thank you for asking. This year, honestly, has been all about my latest book. I'm super, super blessed to have a very, very talented best friend, Sarah Mitchell McCain, who is also not just my best friend. That takes a lot of talent. But being a writer, she's also an amazing writer. And the two of us collaborated on a spinoff. My second book is called Good Morning, Good Life. It's the morning routine manual. And I just really think you need to hit 3 milestone moments in the morning and you can hit the day running: movement, mindfulness, and mastery. And so we thought it'd be cool to come out with like something you could do for your mindful moment. And that is the latest book, 365 Days of Good Morning, Good Life. It's a page-a-day reader, super easy for people who don't love to read, but just need a little kick in the pants every morning. That's our big thing we've been going on and on and on about this year. And I'm very excited about it. In addition to the fact that the Good Morning, Good Life planner just came out with 3 new colors. And so I'm fully obsessed with my online store at the moment. So you can find all of that on my profile. But yeah, the book I think is like this amazing game changer for people who are just getting introduced to me and my sort of like ecosystem. Like I was telling you, like if you've never watched a video because you ain't got time, then like reading a page of a book really could get you very excited about somebody, and that's a different medium for getting introduced. So I love that. So the readers out there might really enjoy it. But yeah, that's what I'm excited about.
Absolutely. Well, we're so excited for you. I mean, I think this like 365-day Good Morning, Good Life setup is just so thoughtful, and it's so smart because like, yeah, people do have a lot going on. They have busy lives. They're parents like you are. They've got multiple jobs, or they're trying to pursue multiple things. So to just like take that time for yourself to be so thoughtful and intentional about that every morning as you wake up. And I know like one of the videos that I actually watched was sort of about your like morning journal routine and taking that from the artist's way, which like, you know, sometimes you never
morning pages is a game changer.
Yes.
I'll walk everybody through it. It's super easy. It's literally just wake up. This is another good idea for a mindful moment. Wake up, take out just like any journal with like reasonable size paper, but you do you, and you literally just write for 3 pages. It's from the book, The Artist's Way. And the point of it is like when everybody wants to journal, right? Like we're all Googling journaling because we want to be that girl. Yeah. But the reality is then we sit down to journal and it's like, my grandchild's going to read this someday. No, they're not. No, they're not. That's not what morning pages are. Morning pages are to get like the bad dreams, the anxiety, the dribble, the stuff that you're not happy with. Like you get it out and you put it on the page. Somebody even told me recently they know somebody who has a morning pages ritual. They write for 3 pages and then they burn it. I was like, oh my gosh, that's what it is. It is get it out, give it a place, and it's gone. Because now if you want to turn your creative light on, you have to get that stuff out. Now there might be some important things in there. Oh, okay, don't forget to do that. Go put it on a to-do list. But the morning pages are meant to clear your mind, and people always have a hard time writing for 3 pages. And it turns out maybe we actually have a hard time complaining and writing for 3 pages if that's what it is. So it is really good for clearing your mind. One of my favorite strategies for starting the day on your terms. So there is a video on that if you want to learn about it. But Julia Cameron from The Artist's Way is the origin source of that tactic. And she's brilliant. So you can learn about it there too.
Exactly. All these strategies, all these techniques that you've compiled and brought together are really just so thoughtful. And like you said, helping women, helping people out there to go after the life that they want. It's really something that you have just like so totally mastered. And the fact that you have a plethora of resources on it in so many different ways, whether it is the books or it is the, you know, the mindful mornings or your new like 365-day like book and planner. I mean, all those things are just absolutely amazing. And that's why we love you, Amy. We love you.
We're just trying to make it easier for everybody. I'm here for you. I'm here for you.
Literally, and we'll take it. We'll take it. I see. I am Ali Sonberg saying, Amy, so glad I caught you live. You were brilliant and thoughtful. Yes.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you here. This is so much fun. And this is why I love the live component, that like people can just like chat and like be a part of the conversation. That's what I love. And I see that we have some questions rolling in here now. So shall I ask you some like questions?
I love questions so much.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, lots of questions here. The first one I'm going to ask is from Safa, who is, like I said, part of the Entrepreneurs Organization. He was one of the judges for season 1 of Started Up. Safa, we love you. Safa is saying movement and mindfulness. He's saying movement, he's got it. Mindfulness, he's got it. Can you speak more about mastery?
Totally. Absolutely. I love that question. Okay, good. So my whole point was, we know we got to move our bodies, movement, mindfulness, clear our minds, get in tune with us, mastery. This is where you can tap into the thing that you want for yourself. So the reason why we don't gain any ground on the things that we're still aspiring to is because we don't make time for it. I'm simply saying that if you gave yourself a mastery moment in the morning before anything else, before the emails, before other people, if you can, sometimes family dynamics don't always account for that. I have a baby. I can testify to how I balance that. Going to work, you've got people coming into your office and they're like, I got to talk to you. You have to give yourself that mastery moment because you're not going to make advances in your life. So a mastery moment could be anything where, what is something you're trying to master? Like if you think about the 10,000 hours rule, blah, 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 like you just have to give time to something if you want to get better at it. So for instance, if you are wanting to write your book, do you spend time researching and writing your book in the morning? That's a mastery moment. Do you want to learn a foreign language? Do you spend 5 to 10 minutes, 15 minutes, however long you want your morning routine to be, because you've got some other things to do? How many minutes do you give to practicing the foreign language in the morning? Do you want to start your own business? Do you want to leave your job and go on to be a digital creator? What are you doing in the morning to plan your content? Can you shoot something before? Like if I had to get camera ready to go to work every day, I would definitely be shooting before I left the house, because I don't have to get camera ready until I have to get camera ready now. So I'm like, I always try to put all of that in the same block so I don't have to waste makeup. But if I had to get ready to go to a job, I would be shooting an Instagram video every day, and that could be my mastery moment. So what can you do to have a little bit of movement? And which, by the way, I'm not a morning fitness person. My movement is like make sure the oils and my moisturizer is in my face, and that's it. And I do a little bit of like stretching. That's my movement. I'll go work out later. Mindfulness, I do morning pages, I read, I pray, I do whatever I want to do to just be like in tune with myself, get outside of my anxiety. And then my mastery, lucky for me, I work for myself. So I get to write a YouTube video, or I get to send off an idea to a brand, or I get to start working on the new version of the planner that I'm going to launch someday. Like I'm going to do something that's within my mastery so that I'm making that better and I'm not staying the same. So I hope that helps. I think mastery could be anything. You don't have to want to start a business. Do you want to master something? Do you want to add a layer to your life that you haven't been able to tap into yet? Make the time for it before you let the rest of the world in. That's all I'm saying.
I love it. I love it. I'm giving you the DJ horn for that one. Yeah. And I think that was exactly what people needed to hear. I'm seeing in the chat, Safa is saying, got it, love it. And other people are saying that was a great question. It's just that reminder, that little daily reminder that for you to be an expert at something, for you to accomplish those dreams and those goals, you have to dedicate time to it every single day. So taking those little moments of mastery. Yes, yes, yes. I love it, Amy. I love it. And now the questions are just rolling in. Okay, let me see another question here. I really like this question actually from Satya Mavda Singh, asking, how can we get up in the morning every day? Like, where do you get that motivation to get up and to get at it?
Okay, so remembering my why, but let me tell you something about me. I am not a morning person. And not one day in the history of my short little life have I woken up and said, I feel like $1 million. It doesn't happen, literally ever. I actually for so long, I used to be the 5 a.m. queen. Then I had a baby and I was like, nah. I'm already up at 3, so I'm going to go back to bed now. So no, now that Bianca's sleeping through the night and everything, I finally got back into a stride of 5:30. I'm really surprised at myself because I'm not snoozing my alarm at all, and I'm a chronic snoozer.
Wow.
I am up, and I'm like, this is just repetition. It's just repetition. But to get to that repetitive moment, you do need to have some kind of motivation. And I really think it comes down to your why. What is your mastery moment? Like, if you could think about, like, if I wake up tomorrow, don't tell me to go to the gym. I'll snooze. But if you tell me that tomorrow I get to wake up and not speak to anyone and have only quiet. And you should see my YouTube homepage. All my videos are like those corny, like, what are they called? Animations of, not even the real thing. Animations of like beaches and jazz music behind it. Every morning I turn on YouTube and Life Without Stress is a channel that I subscribe to, play this thing. And that's it. And it plays and I journal and I speak to no one. And that motivates me to wake up because I know I've got to be on. I got to take care of my kid. I got to get on this call, talk to my husband. We're organizing this. I love that. but I also love it because I know that that's going to be the core time I get to write, the core time I get to have ideas, and that motivates me. It motivates me. Like, it might not motivate you to get up and write. It might not motivate you to have quiet alone time. I don't think I deal with like loneliness on some level. And I think a lot of people during COVID had to deal with a lot of loneliness because we were apart. I don't have those problems. I'm an introvert who needs rehabilitation when I'm not around other people. Wow. So knowing yourself and what, like, if you could do anything to start tomorrow morning, that's what gets me out of bed. And just being honest with yourself about it.
It's so beautiful how you've been so consistent with knowing your why, even throughout this whole interview. And it's something that's like very clear on your page and in your content as well. But even in an interview like this, a 1-hour short clip with Amy Landino, and your why still comes through so strongly. And that is just such a powerful reminder for all of us to really move with purpose, because when you move with that purpose, once you've identified what it is, and once you move forward with that purpose, you will make sure that you are taking the time to master it, to expand it, to showcase it, to share it in all the different ways that you can. And that's something that's just really sort of resonated with me. And I'm so glad that that's happened today on this interview, because now I get to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, this is my why. Is this manifesting the way that I want it to? Am I showcasing it the way I want it to? Does it connect the dots with everything that I'm doing, or does it not? So I'm really glad you shared that. Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh, absolutely, absolutely. I'm seeing one quick question here in the comments. Maybe I'll go to this one, and then we'll sort of wrap up. Enchanted Vines is saying, Amy, your emails. Hi. Enchanted Vines is saying, Amy, your emails are one of the few that I read consistently. Any tips on how you create so much engagement through email? That's a great question.
Oh, that is a good question. Honestly, I think it comes down to knowing who you're talking to. Like, when I know I'm talking to Enchanted Vines, because I know her very well, I know she's on my list, and I think of her and I think of the people like her that are on my list. It's really so much easier for me to write an email and feel like I'm writing it to a friend. These days, where you have to find your way of standing out. Everyone's worried about that, right? How do I stand out because it's so saturated? I think the line is stand for something. That's what I tweeted it one day. I was like, this is so much more rare for somebody to just stand for something. I know what I stand for, and I know what conversations I want to have with my person. And I just have those conversations. I really think of them. I don't think about a massive list of people getting it. I think of the specific person. That's really been the theme of everything, because it's true. If I thought about, so-and-so like person in this department might get this, or this brand might get this, or this like person that's not my ideal client gets this email, I don't think of them, because they're going to work themselves out. They're either going to be subscribed or not be subscribed. And if they unsubscribe, I say hello to you and goodbye to you. And that is okay. Because I would rather you choose where your energy is going to come from and it be the right energy. You are allowed to graduate from me. You are allowed to move on from me, because I understand the number one rule of personal branding, and that's okay. So when I write my emails, they are for my person, and they are always for my person. And if you fit, you fit. If you don't, you don't. And I'm going to be better for it. I can have more productive conversations. I have very few negative comments that come in specifically on email. I don't think I get very many at all. I can't remember any negativity from email, but YouTube comments, like social media comments, of course, run the gamut. Right. But less on YouTube than I see some of my counterparts get, just because like I know who I'm talking to, or I just don't pay attention to that stuff. I guess that could be it. Just have such clarity of who you know you're right for, because it's going to give you so much freedom from the pressures of everyone else. Everyone else is going to want to put pressure on you. Everyone is going to tell you how you should be measuring up. And emails are more effective, and your life is better, and your marketing is better, and your videos are better, and your content and your life and your business, everything is better when you know who you're doing it for. Who is your person, and who are you really doing this for? Why do you show up? It's so that you can live an extraordinary life for yourself. So you have to be super clear on who you're talking to.
Yes, Amy.
Thank
I
you.
have just loved this conversation so much. I see people tuning in being like, oh no, I just tuned in late, but I heard stand for something. Yes, it's okay. Don't worry. We've recorded this whole thing. I'm going to upload it onto my Instagram. I'll put it up on YouTube as well. Shout out to Enchanted Vines and Satya and Safa, who asked phenomenal questions, and to everybody who's tuned in this whole time. Amy, I know we have like 1 minute left, but any final thoughts you want to share with us here on NIKKI BANZ Live?
I hope everybody stops wasting their time and goes after the life that they want, because tomorrow's not promised. That's it.
Hey! There we go. There we go. Amy, this has just been such a beautiful way to reconnect with you after our time in Cape Town and to actually have a proper conversation.
I know.
We didn't really get to have a proper chat when we were in Cape Town, so here we are now, and hopefully more and more to come. This has just been such a joy, and I have so much that I'm going to reflect on and journal on as a result of our conversation. So I'm so grateful to you. Thank you for coming on the show today.
It has been my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. I really want to acknowledge you for spending the time with me and talking about all of this stuff and the amazing amount of time that you give to this show and for your community. It's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. I just appreciate it so much. I'm honored to have you as part of that community. This has just been a joy. All right, everybody. This is a NIKKI BANZ Live, your favorite interview series where every week I bring you different guests from a different country every single week, here with the amazing Amy Landino. You can follow me on Instagram at @TheyCallMeBanz. Make sure you follow Amy as well. Go to the top of your screen, hit that little white arrow, hit the follow on Instagram. You can subscribe on our YouTube channels as well. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Amy. We'll see you next
Thanks,
Tuesday.
everyone.
Bye, everybody.